The University of Ibadan was founded in 1948 as the University College, Ibadan. It first occupied the old site previously used by the 56th Military General Hospital at Elele, about 8 kilometers from the permanent site. The new permanent site opposite Agbowo covers an area of 1,032 hectares of land, generously leased by the chiefs and the people of Ibadan for 999 years.
Although the 104 foundation students began their courses at Ibadan on 18th of January 1948, the formal opening, however, took place on 25th March 1948. It must be noted, however, that in February 1948, London University allowed Ibadan into its special relationship scheme. Arthur Chris Jones, then British Secretary of State for the Colonies, turned the first sword at the permanent site of the University College on 17th November 1948. 17th November has since been adopted as the university's foundation day and its final convocation ceremony.
It's actually a mixed bag. In terms of physical development, UI is better. Many of the buildings that we have now were not there in the past. You can boast of many new buildings. Roads were tarred, and Dr. Gamale Onoso, they came visiting about 2 weeks ago and commended the beauty of the environment. And he said, I drove into UI, I did not see a single litter of piece of paper. So we have an extremely organized environment, beautiful. In terms of functionality, we might say the present is worse than the past. In terms of the physical environment, UI now is better than the past.
The MacArthur Foundation came into the University of Ibadan soon after the return to democracy in 1999. They first made some exploratory visits to the University of Ibadan, and in 2001, they identified the University of Ibadan as a worthy partner to work with under their global program for sustainable development. In 2002, they awarded a 3-year grant to the University of Ibadan for the amount of 3 million. So this grant was for institutional strengthening and for other purposes, capacity building. Then in 2005, the foundation awarded another grant to the University of Ibadan for capacity building and institutional strengthening. This grant was for $3.4 million. And in 2008, the foundation awarded another 3-year grant to the University of Ibadan for staff capacity building, institutional strengthening, and community service. This grant was for $4 million. So the grant ended, this last grant ended in 2010. Right now, the foundation is awarding grants to the University of Ibadan under a new paradigm, a new model of funding. They are interested in funding world-class centers of excellence to be developed at the University of Ibadan. 5 such centers have now been awarded grants by the foundation. So these grants of roughly $1 million per center have now been awarded and have begun to run.
At the foundation of the university in 1948, there were only 6 departments: classics, English, history, religious studies, geography, and mathematics. Between 1948 and 1949, the college had 3 faculties: arts, science, and medicine. Today, there are 13 faculties comprising College of Medicine with 4 faculties, namely Basic Medical Sciences, Clinical Sciences, Dentistry, and Public Health, Arts, Agriculture and Forestry, the Social Sciences, Education, Veterinary Medicine, Technology, Law, and Pharmacy. Apart from the faculties, the academic wings of the university include the library, the Institute of African Studies, the Institute of Child Health, the Computing Center, the University Press, the Ibarakba Community Health Project, the Behavioral Sciences Research Unit, the Schlumberger Learning Center, the Institute of Education, the Center for Peace and Conflict Studies, the General Studies Program, and the Distance Learning Center.
Before I give you what I consider to be the DSC story so far, and it's important for me to state that we have a sort of an overarching mission or vision, which is to provide a sort of access to global competitive and qualitative education. And I need to explicate this to say that we have not only local mandate, we have a global mandate, which is enabled, or which is possible because of the mode of our operation. You know, as Distance Learning Center, you know, we are different from the regular university system, you know, where the mode of interaction is essentially through physical contact and face-to-face. Essentially what you do in the providing education at tertiary level is to mediate our teaching and contact with students with technology. So which means then that we rely heavily on information technology in the conduct of affairs. As much as possible, we want to run a truly open distance learning education where students, in most of the interaction that will be taking place, will not have to see us physically, that we do most of our teaching, the tutorial, and part of exam online. You know, that is the ultimate goal.
The first postgraduate degree was awarded in 1952 under the scheme of special relationship with the University of London. In the 1976 to 77 session, a postgraduate school with a dean as its head replaced the Board of Postgraduate Studies.
We have no unaccredited program or disaccredited program. All our programs are accredited either fully or partially, and we're proud of that. But we're moving to a state where we would also do what we call internal accreditation, and that's what we expect the Quality Assurance Directorate to do. So that before they come visiting, we will have done it ourselves. And in addition to that, NUC, as you're aware, has also started what they call institutional accreditation, not just program accreditation. In other words, we will look into the totality of your university, not just your MBBS, not just your MBA, not just your legal program, but the entire institution. And the last time it was done as a pilot project, I came first. And so I think we have everything going for this university. Sometimes people who are within do not appreciate what they have. And I was at NUC yesterday, and you'll be flattered that many vice chancellors in other institutions will call the vice chancellor of University of Ibadan my vice chancellor. So that's the degree of honor and respect that the occupant of this office enjoys.
There are 9 undergraduate halls of residence: Melambi, Teda, Kuti, Sultan Bello, Queen Elizabeth II, Alexander Brown, Independence, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Queen Idia. and 3 postgraduate halls of residence, Tafawa Balewa, Obafemi Awolowo, and Abdusalam Abubakar. These halls have a total optimum capacity of nearly 5,000 students. However, as at the 2008-2009 session, the total number of full-time students was 19,521, while there were, during the same period, 8,241 part-time students. Consequently, a number of students had to leave off campus at Agbowo, Orogun, Barika, Samonda, Songo, and other surrounding areas.
I started teaching in this university in 1966 and have been lecturer, senior lecturer, reader, and then professor in 1975. And in 1977 to 79, I was chairman of the Committee of Deans. And in 1982, I became the deputy vice chancellor. The following year, I became active vice chancellor. And in 1984, I became substantive vice chancellor and served 2 terms. I finished in 1991, came back to my department and taught until I was 60 years old in 1994.
From inception, the university has encouraged student unionism, and the Students' Union is an important feature of the university's existence. Housed in an extremely attractive and impressive complex which includes the central cafeteria and Olympic-sized swimming pool.
Most of the students in the University of Ibadan now, in fact almost everybody, do not witness student unionism before. So it's just like a new thing to everybody. We are trying to see how we can integrate it, even to us too. We've not witnessed student unionism before. So we are trying to see and learn from people like our lecturers, and we really appreciate the effort of the Student Affairs and the University Council, especially the Vice Chancellor, Professor Isaac Adewale. He has been helpful to us a lot. He has been like a pillar to us. He has been the one showing us the way to go so that we won't go astray. And to the Dean of Students, Professor Farai, both of them have been superb. They've been wonderful. They've been helping us in seeing that student unionism is not what they used to have in those days, whereby they are known for violence.
Well, we had some very difficult challenges to cope with in terms of resuscitation of student union activities. We were convinced that the decision we took will serve us well because we cannot lay claim to having a viable democracy if students are not even encouraged to practice even at the rudimentary level, and encourage them to practice democracy, govern themselves, and interact with us and engage with us. And so we supported the resuscitation of student union activity. We successfully conducted election. There was a protest, and we called them to the table and said, look, you keep on doing it, that even US has not succeeded in having a hitch-free election. How much more student union? And I'm happy that the major contestant who filed the protest withdrew and actually wrote a letter of commendation to him.
Well, the major aim of the student union is to protect the interests of its members. And who are the members? The students. So the student union is to make sure that the interests of the students are always protected. Like nobody is going to tamper with their interests. If we see that something like a policy is going to affect the students negatively, we are there to stand and protect the interests of the students. Like, no, this is what the students want, and this is what we believe. We also move the university and the students forward. Like on so many occasions, the students are involved in so many committees in the university. And it's not only me, it's other students. We have to get students to form in one committee or the other, just to together and move the university forward.
The university provides accommodation for some of its senior and junior staff. The Abadena complex caters for the residential needs of the bulk of the junior staff. There are over 600 housing units as well as the university guest houses, the Pro-Chancellor's Lodge, amongst others.
The main challenge is that the rent that the staffs are paying is a pittance. Somebody is staying in a house and paying 5,000 a month. What type of rent is that? And you know how much that will cost. So in terms of returns We are really making very little from the hostels, from the accommodation. But they have money, and we thought that even what we do is to build a block of flats a year. In 5 years' time, we will have put 5 new ones. We're also talking to some overseas group, one in US and one in UK, looking into a new system of putting up buildings. Some of them are using containers, and these are prefabs, but not prefab of wood, but of metal. Strong enough and quite resilient and cheaper. And we think that even with that investment, we'll bring down the cost of putting up houses down by about 75%. So we'll put up more buildings for staff. We'll also put up more hostels for students. We are thinking of having an Olubadan hall, and a committee has been put up to put life into that. Through the instrumentality of the Senior Staff Housing Committee and the DVC admin, we've just increased the rent marginally, but I think we need to do more. It's difficult for people to part with money. I think it's part of this culture. People want to have everything free, water free, electricity free, housing free, food free, and maybe even addresses free. But we continue to engage so that we increase it in an economic sense, but not in a way that will dislocate their pockets.
The visitor to the university has been the heads of state or presidents. University of Ibadan has had 14 visitors since Nigeria attained independence. They include Sir John Macpherson, KBE, 1954 to 1955. Sir James Robertson, GCMG, KBE, from 1955 to 1960. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, from 1963 to 1966. Major General Agui Ironsi, 1966. Major General Yakubu Gowon, 1966 to 1975. Brigadier Muritala Muhammad, 1975 to 1976. Lieutenant General Olusegun Obasanjo from 1976 to 1979. President Shehu Usman Aliu Shagari, 1979 to 1983. Major General Muhammadu Buhari, 1983 to 1985. Major General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, 1985 to 1993. Chief Ernest Shonekon, 1993. General Sani Abacha, 1993 to 1998. General Abdusalami Abubakar, 1998 to 1999. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, 1999 to 2007. Alhaji Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, 2007 to 2010. Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, 2010 till date.
Now looking back, I think my tenure was a kind of transition from the good old days to the harsher economic environment in which we have found ourselves. To begin with, everything was all right. There was a standard set for this place because Ibadan started straight away with international standards. And that was still on when I came in, and it was still on when I became Vice Chancellor. But as the economy of the country deteriorated, it was no longer profitable for foreigners to come and work here. They couldn't live on the salaries. So those were the challenges, but we managed. We managed. In my time, I concentrated on the key things of this infrastructure, on power, on water, on telecommunications, and then at the same time trying to keep the standards for which Ibadan was already famous. But my successors must have had, or some of them must have had, a more difficult time than I had, until, as I said, the last 5 years when more money was coming into the university and the problem of decaying infrastructure was attacked very